us to see. So there's Chrome created by Google. Sorry about that. There's Chrome created by Google. All right. Then there's Opera, which is another browser. If you use a Microsoft computer, it will most likely come with Microsoft Edge. It used to be called Internet Explorer. The newer versions of Windows, Microsoft has changed it to Microsoft Edge, so that's what it's called now. Then, of course, there's Firefox. This is the browser I use, and don't ask me why. I just use it. Of course, then there's a Safari browser. It comes with Apple computers. So if you have a computer that runs the Apple's operating system, you would be able to have Safari on it. Now, I think you need to note that you can have multiple browsers installed on your computer. You don't necessarily have to stick to the browser that comes with your computer. You decide on what browser you want to use. Of course, there are different people have different reasons for using browsers. Some people think one browser is faster than the other. Other people feel that one browser is more secure than another. There are several reasons why people use some particular browser. Find the one you are comfortable with and use it. Again, like I said earlier, some browsers have unique features about them. So, for example, there are browsers that would allow you to immediately download multimedia content whilst you are using that browser. And I'm talking about download and storing it whilst you are in the browser. Some browsers do not allow that. So there's a reason why, different people have different browsers that they use. Our particular study is for us to understand that browsers exist in different types, and they pretty much do go onto the internet and retrieve content from the World Wide Web for you. So your browser is a computer program that is used to navigate the World Wide Web. We've already said that, right? So it's the program that allows you to go onto the internet and be able to retrieve content. Okay. So we'll look at some features that exist, common features that exist across browsers. So we will talk about menus in browsers and what they are for. We will look at the navigation buttons that exist in a browser and how they make your browsing experience unique. We will look at your home button. We'll talk about the refresh button, the stop button, the address bar, and bookmarks. These are common features that you find across browsers, and we will look at all of them and why they exist and how they make our browsing experience unique. So let's start out with menus, right? So most browsers will have a menu either to the right that drops down, or a menu that is aligned at the top on the title bar. So your menu can either be this or it can be this. Now, what the menu does is just to provide you a list of commands or the list of actions that can be taken in a browser. It's not every browser that would have a menu to the right. It's not every browser that will have a menu to the top, but almost every browser would have a menu. Some of them actually have both. So, for example, I use Firefox. I said it earlier. I use Firefox as my browser, and my browser has both. So this screen you are seeing was taken from a Firefox browser, and it has a menu to the left here, to the right here, and that same browser has a menu at the top here. Okay, now for some browsers that have menus at the top, by default you usually don't see the menu showing. So what you do is you press the Alt key. If you look on a keyboard, there's a key, ALT. When you press on the Alt key, the menu then shows up. So if you have a browser and you're not seeing the menu at the top, try pressing the Alt key on your keyboard and see if the menu will show at the top. If it doesn't show, it just means your browser is not built with a menu at the top. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong. So in that case, you most likely see your menu pop up either at the top, the right, or somewhere on the left. So your menu as a browser feature allows you to see the commands or the options that exist within your browser. Okay, now the next feature we want to look at is the address bar, and it's one of the most critical features of any browser. The address bar allows you to enter the web address of the site that you want to go to, and in one of our previous videos we said the web address is the same as the URL, right? Now URL stands for uniform, UNIFORM, resource locator. Okay, so the uniform resource locator, that's another name for the web address. So the address bar would allow you to type the web address you want to go to. In fact, it is that option, is that feature in the web browser that allows you to communicate with the web server. So whatever you type in the address bar, the browser will send that to some web server out there and say, I'm looking for this page, and then the web server will respond with the content of the page, and then your browser will then load that content into your screen for you. So that's what the address bar is used for. It also allows you, the address bar actually stores a list of sites you have been to before, right? The links to the list of sites you have been before. Now, most browsers will store what you call your history. Now, every time you visit a website, the link to that website is stored on your computer. Why is that so? So that at another time when you want to go to that website, you don't necessarily have to type out the whole link. As soon as you begin typing, like an autocorrect on your device, right? It pops up all the websites you have been to that has a name similar to what you are typing. And then you can pick from there and then go straight. The thing is this, once that is happening on your computer, it means the history of your browsing experience is stored. Sometimes people do not want this to happen. Why? If you use a computer and it's a public computer, or you are using a computer with several people, sometimes you visit websites and you do not want anybody to know why you have know that you have visited those websites. Could be several reasons. Maybe you are doing a research, and that research is a private research, and you do not want people to know that you are doing that kind of research. So you make sure that every time you finish browsing, you would ask the browser to clear your browsing history, in which case when you come back to that computer to use it, the list of websites you have visited will not show. All right? But if it is your personal computer and you don't share it with anybody, I think it would be a good idea to keep your history running so that it makes it easy for you to access websites that you have visited before. So the address bar is used to enter the web address or the URL, and it works as a drop-down menu to show the list of previous websites you have visited before. So that's the address bar. Sorry, one of the key features of an internet browser. You will find an address bar on every browser. It's not possible to have a browser that doesn't have an address bar, and most often than not, your address bar will be just below the title bar on your browser. Okay, so let's look at another feature, which is the navigation buttons, and this is really cool. Now, there are two navigation buttons on any browser. There's a forward button and then a backward button. So, the forward button and then the back button, not the backward, back button. They are usually shown as two arrows, a right pointing arrow and a left pointing arrow. The right pointing arrow, which is this one, is the forward button, and the left pointing arrow, which is this one, is the back button. What do they do? So let me explain this with an illustration. Say you visit our CityTV online website, right? So let me start that. CityTV, CITITV, online. You type citytvonline.com in your browser and you go to the website. Once you get there, a page will load. Now, when you type the name of a website in your browser, the first page that loads is called the home page. Sometimes people call it the landing page. So, home page or landing page, LAND. That's where you landed. Landing page. Okay, the home page or the landing page. So let's say you've typed citytvonline.com and then it's taking you to our CityTV homepage. You are there. Now, after you've perused the content of that page, you decide to go to our contact us page. So from CityTV Online, home page, you went to what? Contact us. Okay? Then after seeing the content there, you decided that you wanted to go back to the home page. You don't need to go and type citytvonline.com again to go back to the home page. That's when the back button becomes important. So you click on the back button and it takes you to the home page, because that's the page from which you came to get to the contact us page. Does that make sense? Now you can do that in a long list. So you can go from one page to the second page, to the third, to the fourth, and use the back button to go backwards. Okay, so let's see. Let's try another one. So City TV Online homepage, right? Then from there, we went on to the Contact Us page. Contact Us. And then from there, let's say we clicked on the Class Act page. Class Act. So now we are at the Class Act page. And we want to go back to the Contact Us page. What do? We click on the back button. It will take us back to this page. Okay? Then whilst we are on the Contact Us page, if we click the back button again, where will it take us? To the home page. Because that's how the sequence was. Now, when we have come to the home page, after going through this, and we have come to the home page, if we click on the forward button, what do you think it will take us? To the Contact Us page. Now, whilst we are here, if we click on the forward button, it will take us again where? To the Class Act page. But let's say now we've gotten to the Class Act page and we click on the forward button. Where will this take us? Nowhere. Because after we got to the Class Act page, we didn't go anywhere else, right? We didn't go any further. We went backwards. So if you click the forward button whilst you are on the Class Act page within this session, nothing will happen. In fact, you would notice that when you come to the Class Act page, the forward button will be disabled. It will be inactive. It will be grayed out, because when you click it, there's nothing to go to. So it doesn't even give you the option to click on it. All right? So that's what the forward and the back button does. It allows you to navigate through pages whilst you are browsing within a particular session. Why is this so important? Let's say you are doing a research and you've opened a browser window and you have clicked several pages on the website, you've gone to several different websites, and then you remember that I saw something on some web page, but I don't remember exactly where, right? This is when it will be good to use your navigation button. So as you keep clicking backwards, it keeps walking you through the pages that you have been through during that browsing session. Now I keep saying browsing session. Once you close the browser window and you open it, these buttons don't work again unless you start the process again, right? So whilst that session is still ongoing, whilst you are still browsing within that particular window, if you keep clicking back, it will walk you through all the pages you have been through in a backward fashion. Okay? So that is what the back and the forward button do. They are very exciting buttons. They actually help you a lot to go through your pages, especially when you do research. Don't forget that. Now let's look at another feature, the home button. The home button. Now the home button allows you to go to your home page. Now you remember I just said home page when I talked about our City TV online website. So don't confuse the home page of a website to the home page of a browser. They are two different things. Do not confuse the home page of a website with the home page of a browser. And let me explain what this is. We said that anytime you go to a website, you type citytvonline.com. Once you press enter, it takes you to the home page of the City TV website. Okay? So that's the home page of a website. Anytime you click on your browser and it opens, say you go through your start menu, click on your browser and the program opens, the page that loads is called the home page of your browser. It may not necessarily be the same as the home page of a website. All right? So keep that. The home page of a website is the first page that loads when you type in the URL of your browser. Sorry, the URL of that web page. The home page of a browser is what the page that loads when you open the browser the first time. They are two different things. Now, most browsers, let's say, take me, I work at CCTV online, and what I would want to do when I turn on my browser, when I open my browser the first time, is to see what is happening on our website. So what I can do is I can set my browser homepage to be my CCTV online homepage. So anytime I open my browser, the first thing that will open is my CCTV online page. Okay? Let's assume that you are a researcher. And most of the time, when you turn on your browser, what you want to do is start searching for some information. You can set your browser homepage to be the Google search page. So as soon as you open your browser, Google search opens. Do you follow? Now, most browsers, when they are installed for the first time on your computer, by default, the homepage of the browser is what the manufacturer has set it to. So, for example, we talked about a browser called Chrome. When you use Chrome, which was developed by Google, the default homepage for Chrome is the Google search page. So once you click on the Chrome icon on your computer and it opens, the Google search page would open. But you can go to the settings of your browser and change that to whatever you want it to be. And every browser allows you to do that. You will find settings, settings. You find settings somewhere in your browser options, and then it will ask you, there's an option there that should say homepage, and then it will ask you what's the URL for the homepage, or what's the website, the web address for the homepage you want. You type that in and it's saved. Anytime you open that browser, it is that page that will open as the first page. So don't confuse the homepage of a website with a homepage of a browser. Okay, so once you have a homepage on your browser, this home button allows you to go to your browser's homepage once you click on it. So, for example, I've opened my browser and I've done several things. I have looked for one item, I have done some shopping, I have done all sorts of things online. And then for some reason, I want to go back to my homepage, my browser homepage. All I do is click on the home button. That looks like a house. You click on the home button and it immediately takes you to the home page that you have set up for your browser, right? So that's what the home button does. Now let's look at the next feature, which is called the refresh button. Refresh button, right? What the refresh button does is forces the browser to load a current version of whatever page that is loaded. Why would you want to force the browser to do that? Sometimes when you load a page, the page doesn't load properly. Maybe the picture element on those pages does not load well, or maybe the structure of the page doesn't seem loaded well. When you click on the refresh button, what happens is the browser sends the request to the World Wide Web for an updated version of the page to be loaded. Again, sometimes browsers cache pages. When you say cache is a copy of a web page that is stored on your machine locally, right? A copy of a page that is stored on your local computer is called a cache. Why do browsers store cache? It's because sometimes you want some pages to load fast. So, say in my browser address bar, I have written citytvonline.com. What will happen? This is my browser, and this is my CCTV web server. The browser will send the request to the CCTV web server to send the CCTV homepage, and this comes and loads into my browser. Okay? But if my browser had a local copy of the CCTV homepage stored on the machine itself, the computer itself, then it will not send a request to the server. It will just load the local copy, the cached copy, right? And that definitely would load faster than getting it over the internet. So why don't we do this all the time? And the reason is because some pages are updated very frequently. So CCTV, we're a news channel, right? And news comes in, every hour or every other hour. Every time we get news that comes in, we will update our website. So say you had a cached copy from yesterday of our homepage. We had a cached copy. a local copy that has been stored from yesterday, and then you do citytvonline.com and a local copy is uploaded from yesterday. Today we may have updated our website several times, so the information you'll be seeing at that time will not be updated, right? It will be information which is old from yesterday, but you want the current one. In that particular case, what you then do is you click on the refresh button. As soon as you click on the refresh button, what you are telling the browser is go over the internet, get the new page and bring it. I don't want the local or the stored content, right? The cache content, I don't want that. I want the content that comes directly over the internet. So it goes to the CDTV website, picks the content and load it. The thing is, there are some websites that are not updated very frequently, right? Some people may update their website once a month. Some people do it every quarter, depending on the kind of information you have on your website. For some people, they don't update it every time. So if you are accessing such a website and there's a local content, it's just fine, because even if your browser went over the internet to bring the updated version, the updated will be just the same as the local content. So that's what the refresh button does, and that's what caching is. So keep that also in mind. Then let's look at what we call the stop button. The stop button is very important. Sometimes you type in a website address, you type enter on your keyboard, the site begins to load, and then you realize that it is the wrong site you have typed in. Okay, and you don't want it to load. Maybe by mistake you typed a site address that is malicious or download some viruses onto your computer. So what do? You click on the X button and then it stops. It breaks the communication between the browser and the internet, and so the content does not load. That's what the stop button does. It helps you stop communication between your browser and a web server somewhere, maybe as a result of you having typed wrong information, the wrong address. Okay, you would notice that the position of the stop button and the position of the refresh button are just about the same. So you see what I have here? I have the back, the forward, and then the refresh. See here, I have back, forward, and then the stop, right? Now, this is because the stop and the refresh button alternate. Now, I said that you refresh when you want an updated copy of a page. Okay, so when the page has finished loading, there's no need to stop it because it's already loaded, and so then that button moves from being the stop button to become the refresh button. All right, that's how they alternate. When a page has already finished loading, there's no need to stop it because it's already loaded, so you don't need a stop button. So you will usually see the stop button when the page is in the process of being loaded. And as it is, whilst the page is in the process of being loaded, there's no need to refresh it because the page hasn't finished loading. What are you refreshing? Do you understand? So when the page is in the process of being loaded, you would see the stop button. After the page has finished loading, then that stop button changes to the refresh button. Okay? Then finally, let's look at what we call bookmarks. Some browsers call it favorites, and some browsers call it bookmarks. So these are links that are stored by you, the user, in order to reference them later or make it easy for you to go to those sites. So notice here, I have bookmarks here. So there's a bookmark here called Getting Started. There's another one that says Amazon. There's another one that says Priceline. These are all bookmarks that have been saved on my computer. Now, bookmarks are important, especially for people doing research. So let's say you are doing a research in mathematics, another one in art and culture, and you've browsed several sites, and on all those sites you see web pages that you think are important for your research. You can save all those pages as bookmarks. The next time you want to go there, you don't have to type the URL, just click on the link where the bookmark is, and then it takes you there. In fact, bookmarks allow you to even name those pages what you want. So if I saw a page on Pythagoras theorem and I wanted to save it, I'll save the bookmark as Pythagoras theorem. When I click on it, it goes to that web page for me. Bookmarks would also allow you to put your different bookmarks in different folders. So for example, all my math bookmarks, I can put them in a particular folder. All my art and culture bookmarks, I can put it in a different folder. Okay, so that's bookmarks call favorites in other browsers, and you'll be able to see that in a browser. So let's look at what we have done today. We've looked at web browsers and some of the common features. We looked at menus, navigation buttons, the home button, refresh. We looked at the stop button, the address bar, and then we looked at the bookmark buttons. This is all we have for you today, and thanks for watching.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
This is Al Jazeera.
1800 hours GMT here on Al Jazeera. I'm Kamal Santamaria, and this is the News Hour. Millions infected with coronavirus in India and Brazil. And with hospitals at breaking point, we're looking at the challenges faced by the developing world.
But when you wear a mask, you have my respect.
But what about the mixed messaging in the United States? Politicians are still divided over the wearing of masks in public, even as the country reports another record high number of cases. Also in the news, anger in Sudan over the government's sweeping legal reforms that include allowing non-Muslims to drink alcohol. And the US Defense Secretary effectively bans the divisive Confederate flag at military sites, a move expected to increase tension with President Donald Trump.
And in sport, F1 world champion Lewis Hamilton is unable to set a time in second practice ahead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Heavy rain frustrating Hamilton in Budapest as Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel goes quickest.
More than 6 months now since the first cases were reported, but the resurgence of coronavirus is now such a real threat, with some nations seeing their worst spikes yet. India, for example, it has become the third country to record more than 1 million cases, infections spreading in the smaller rural areas where health systems are far weaker. And some states are now reimposing their restrictions after the nationwide lockdown was lifted last month. In Brazil, the hospitals are struggling to cope with what is the world's second biggest outbreak, and there are concerns there, as there are in India as well, that a lack of testing has left many infections unreported. Let's not forget also President Jair Bolsonaro himself continues to isolate after being infected. And the US has shattered yet another record with more than 77,000 cases in a single day. Even with those numbers, politicians remain divided over the orders to wear a face mask. The governor of Georgia is now urging residents to wear them a day after suing the mayor of Atlanta over its mask mandate. So here's the team this hour. Natasha Butler in Paris to talk us through what the European Union is trying to do to rebuild the economy there. But we're starting with Kimberly Halkett at the White House. Masks, Kimberly. So it's still incredible to think that with 77,000 cases a day that this is a continuing issue.
And make no mistake about it, even though the governor of the U.S. state of Georgia is suggesting people should wear a mask, he's still defending his lawsuit against the Atlanta mayor, that is the largest city in his state, who is mandating these masks, and that is something the governor doesn't agree with. Stick with me here because I know it's confusing, but essentially what he's saying is no American wants to be forced to do something. They'll just use common sense. So while the city of Atlanta is putting in a mandate that you must wear a mask when you go into a restaurant, for example, or if you just go about your business, this is something that the governor of that state does not support. He says that in his lawsuit that the mandate is too restrictive and the mayor exceeded her authority. Well, one of the top infectious disease specialists has weighed in on that, saying that